Hi folks, this is video number 170 and the title is 3 Things Not to Do at the Lake. A friend of ours, Diane, that we have breakfast with, turns out her and her husband and her sister and brother-in-law bought a cottage over Lake Sheridan. Well, back when we were kids, that belonged to the parents of one of my mother's best friends. Well, we go way back, back to our single digits at that cottage. We got telling some stories, and I thought of 3 more the last couple of days. But I thought I'd relate them here. I'm outside. Thought I'd get a little different venue. It's a little bit glary behind me, but there's not much I can do about that. You hear a chain rattle around. That's the dog, Jake, bouncing around here. Well, anyway, this is going to be 3 short stories of what not to do at the lake. Now, in between plowing and harrowing and planting corn and mowing hay, because we always milk cows in the morning, sometimes you got a day where you didn't have anything to do besides milk the cows. So I go to Grandpa's, and sometimes I grab the rowboat and I row out in the middle of the lake and stretch out across the middle seat, put my feet in the water on one side and seat cushion under my head on the other, and throw a worm and bobber in the water and laid a pole against my leg, and something grabbed it and slapped me and wake me up. And I'd lay out there and fall asleep. I did that once or twice a summer. Nice time to relax. One day I got this idea, because Grandpa had 10 grandkids. He had a variety of inner tubes for kids swimming. He had a big truck inner tube, 1 or 2 of them. Well, I took one of those big truck inner tubes, went down the dock, and they had the big stems on them. So you got to watch and make sure the stem's pointed away from you. If you flop off the dock, that stem's pointed up, put a big gouge in your back. And trust me, that's not something you want to do. Well, anyway, I got this big inner tube, and I sat in it and leaned backwards and flopped in the water. Paddled out in the middle of the big lake, about a 1/4 mile. I think the lake's about a 1/2 mile across. I'm out in the middle of the lake, got all nice and comfortable in this big inner tube, and I fell asleep. And I was rudely awakened by dime-size hail. There is no place at all to find refuge on, in, or under a freaking inner tube. And it was a big inner tube, so when I had my arm up over it, up underneath it to hold on to it, tried to swim back to shore, the inner tube was up against my ear, and it was putting so much drag, I wasn't getting anywhere, That hailstorm lasted about 20 minutes. I finally got into shore. I looked like I'd been out in the sun too long. I had short hair, not quite as much as little as I have now, but I used to have a flat top back in those days. Pretty short flat top, and my head was red, my ears were red, my face was red, my neck, my shoulders, and my arms were, everything was red, like I'd been out in the sun for an hour and a half, 2 hours. And that's from getting pelted with all that ice for 20 minutes. So I took the rowboat out before, but I never took the inner tube out again. But that's one story. Second story, my friend Freddie Yagi. His parents had a place 2 down from my grandfather's. Fred was my summertime best friend. He lived on South Irving Avenue in Scranton. His dad was an insurance man down there. But anyway, I may have mentioned this somewhere along the line before, but Fred had a tuba. The thing looked like it rolled down Mile Hill outside Tunkhannock. It was all beat up, but it played good. If he wanted to play something on it, he could play something on it. He played it really well. But a lot of times he'd just take a deep breath, jump off the dock with it, and play God Bless America underwater. These big bubbles coming up, and it'd be sound like boo, 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 This crazy stuff we used to do. Well, that's one night he wanted me to stay over, so I stayed over. His parents had a trailer, and they built this big room on it on the lakeside. So Freddie and I were sleeping out in the big room, supposedly. We were sitting there just talking, you know. And the lake was perfectly flat, just beautiful. Nice moon out, stars, beautiful summer night. And for some reason, one of us came up with the idea, like, I wonder how many echoes we could get if we made a big blast with the tuba. You know, because the lake is so smooth, it'd be like bouncing off a mirror. Yeah, one of us gets 3 or 4 or 5. Nah, I think we can get 6 or 7. Well, there's only one way to find out. You know, 2 14-year-old boys aren't too smart. And we proved that. We grabbed the tuba, snuck out the side door, went down the dock, got in a canoe, paddled on out the middle of the lake, stopped, waited till everything got perfectly smooth. Okay, Fred, give it a blast and I'll count the echoes. He hauled off and blasted it like a train was sitting behind us. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 echoes we got, Fred. Holy smoke, I never thought we'd get 8. Me either. About that time, all along the shoreline, lights started to come on. We figured it was dark. Nobody could see us out there. Well, we were wrong. Moon was bright enough. We were silhouetted on the lake. But they could see us that way. And one other thing we didn't consider. Of all the people on Lake Sheridan, there was only one person who owned a tuba. So that really narrowed it down. And usually 19 out of 20 times, if you saw Yagi's canoe with 2 people in it, it was Fred and me. Well, the lights are coming on all around the lake. And somebody hollers, now pardon my French here, but somebody hollers, Yagi, what the hell are you doing out there with that goddamn tuba at 2 o'clock in the morning? Oh, we had trouble. We woke his parents up, and my grandparents too. We got back in the shore and we hoofed it up to the house. We got a good Alpha Charlie from his mom and his dad. And I didn't go over to Grandma and Grandpa's till later on in the morning. Fred wouldn't go with me, so I got over there and I took it all. I took it all. It was a dumb thing to do. We never give it a thought about, you know. And for about a week or so, people were asking us, what are you guys doing out in the middle of the lake at 2 o'clock in the morning? Science experiment. What? Science experiment. We wanted to see how much. The lake was like a mirror, so we figured we'd give a good blast on the horn. We could see how many echoes we could get. And some people thought that was kind of a neat idea once we told them about it. And they said, hey, well, how many did you get? 8. Really? Yeah, we got abused about that for about a week. So, the third story, Fred and I were kind of involved, but we didn't actually do it. You ever get, I'm sure all you older folks have run into somebody just showing up, just aggravated the hell out of you. Well, there was this one kid, that's the way he was. Didn't matter what the subject was, he could do it bigger, better, faster than any of us Hicks. He called us Hicks, and in actuality, I was the only Hick. All everybody else was from Scranton. Well, the first summer we put up with his BS, and he stole one of my belts. I had a belt with a nice buckle, and it disappeared off my shorts while we were doing swimming or something. I forget what. And I knew he had to take it because he's the only other guy around. The rest of them wouldn't have took it. And one of the guys told me later they did see him with it. I never did get it back. But the second summer, here he comes. We're over by the beach. Hey, I bought a boat and a motor. He said, I had the motor in the shop. He says, I got it bored and stroked, and and drilled out the carburetor ports a little. So I think I could get 100 horsepower out of it. So, we're not all mechanical geniuses, but being around motors enough, we knew new motors and rebuilt ones, we treated them gently for a while, broke them in slow. But for some reason, we all must have assumed this guy wasn't that smart. So, hey, where's your boat? Where's your motor? Let's take a look. He was about 2 docks on the west end of the beach. We went over there. Oh, that's pretty nice. Let's start up. Let's hear it. He starts up, and there's bloop, 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 bloop. You could tell he did something to it. So we're praising him about his motor, and he's all pumped up. He says, 100 horse should be able to go across the lake about 10 seconds. Yeah, I probably can. We'll clock you. Let's see what you can do. Well, sure enough, he unties the boat, puts it in reverse, backs out, swings around. We're looking at our watches, and he floors it. Slaps the throttle right down. Motor roars, boat tips up, and off he goes. Gets about 100 yards, gets just about right out in the middle of the lake. Gets right about in the middle of the lake, and there's a god-awful explosion. Kaboom! Big puff of black smoke, big cloud of black smoke. Once you could see that black smoke got up in the air a little bit, you could see the back of the boat. The motor exploded like a grenade and took off the whole back of the boat, and the boat's starting to sink. Bow's starting to come up. What's left of the stern is going down. He's hollering, help me, help me. Well, we couldn't help him. There was no other boats or canoes or anything around. You're going to have to swim back, or we can't help you. We stayed with it till just about underwater, and he swam back. So, the year before, a couple of friends of ours took up scuba diving and went down to the bottom of the big lake. It's about 80 feet deep. They found an old Indian canoe down there nestled in the mud. So, 65 years ago, a little fiberglass runabout and some scattered motor parts joined it. I'm trying to think when we saw that guy again. I don't think we ever did. So, that's my little collage of 3 stories of what not to do out in the middle of the lake. It's, I think it's the 28th. Yeah, 28th of June. According to my phone, the weather's supposed to be pretty good for the rest of the week. So, enjoy your summer, folks. Have a good 4th of July. And as always, I wish everyone all the best.